Wednesday, April 23rd. There's 3 games in the NBA playoffs this evening. We're going to go over each game in detail, give you guys a little bit of an analysis like I always do. It's a little bit of player props. We're also going to start off with our recap from last night and how our picks did and how our VIP plays did. But yeah, before I do that, guys, I'm back on YouTube. I would really appreciate it so much if you guys could like the video and just comment. Like, even if you just comment the word locks or anything, it just helps me with the algorithm. And because I am putting a lot of time in, I want to get as much time as possible focused back on the locks and getting you guys all these analyses and research and box scores and information, so that way we have the better chance of hitting. Because I'm back, baby, and so like I need everybody to get in the trenches with me and fucking let's start this fire up again. Nonetheless, last night, bro, what a fucking sweat. We had OKC and the Grizzlies, and then we had the Bucks and the Pacers, and it was a sweat fest the whole time. I mean, we ended up cashing. VIP went flawless last night, a winning night. We had a teaser, so we won both of our bets on the slip. And so yeah, we had the Bucks plus 10.5 over the Pacers, and then we had we had the Grizzlies plus 20. So we ended up cashing. Perfect evening, and now we've got some momentum going into today. I did already drop my VIP plays for this evening. I have 2 plays VIP for these 3 games in the NBA tonight, game 2. And so you can access those on my Winible. I'll show you right here. The link's going to be in the description, or you can just go to winible.com/SpenceLocks. And so you'll see I do have a weekly subscription. I have a monthly subscription. I also have a VIP lifetime. And actually, if you use code PLAYOFFS right now for the NBA playoffs, I have two of these remaining. You can get half off, so it's 50% off. It's of the VIP lifetime, and this is like lifetime subscription to all of my VIP picks until the day that I leave this earth. So that's pretty much the best value that I've ever given. Even if you just subscribe to my free picks, sometimes I drop free picks, just some fun little slips and stuff. You can subscribe to that as well. Check out the Discord that's attached as well, guys. Thanks so much for all the support. And also, if you've never tried out my VIP before, some of you guys on here are like some of my OGs, so you already have. But if you haven't, you can use code LOCKS. I'll drop it in the description. And you can get 3 days of VIP for free. So you can do the monthly or the weekly, get 3 days for free. Check it out, ride with us, lock in with us. And yeah, let's get back to the action though. All right, anyways, 3 games, starting off Magic Celtics, game 2, 7 p.m. Eastern. Bro, like, I mean, these 2 games, the first 2 games, and especially with the Magic and the Celtics, it's a Class A team like the Celtics, the best team, obviously won the NBA Finals last year, and they're going up against the Magic, who the Magic really only has 2 players that carry their team, Franz Wagner and Paulo Banchero. Like, and they both went absolutely crazy last game. I mean, and the Magic still lost by double digits. So we know the Celtics, they're at home again, but we do also know the Celtics, they like to take their foot off the gas a little bit. If you've noticed that in the past, especially in the playoffs. I remember last year in the playoffs, I think they were playing against the Cavs perhaps, and they lost game 2. And so they have a tendency of taking their foot off the gas, especially with weaker teams. And you might see if the Magic is going to come in and steal a game, it's probably going to be either in game 2 or game 3 at home. However, I just don't think the matchup really favors the Magic in any way whatsoever. Now, we did have Jason Tatum go down, and actually in the injury report tonight, he's very doubtful to play. I don't think he's going to play. He actually didn't even do well in game 1 at all. He was missing a bunch of shots, and then he went down with that wrist injury. So keep in mind that he's not going to probably be playing. I don't really think it's going to make much of a difference, to be honest, but that's just something to note about if you're like looking at player props or other things. But yeah, the Celtics, they've been a letdown in game 2 for years. Now, I lean towards the Magic in this game. It's not really in this situation because, you know, usually when you look at underdogs coming back like zigzags, you know, so they come back stronger and they end up winning the second time. But this situation doesn't really favor them. They're not a Class A team. So they're just playing up against the best team, which is the Celtics, and it's not going to look very good for them. However, if I was going to take a side as far as the spread, I would probably do an alternate spread with the Magic. I don't usually ever take normal sportbook lines on spreads because I just think that there's like those are what the general population or the public usually do. Obviously, the public's all over the Celtics, of course, but like as far as like lines and spread lines, like I don't take the lines that everybody else takes. I kind of like give myself by a couple of points usually, or even like a point or two, just to like get away from like the herd of sheep, if that makes sense. So if Vegas does make a call, it's like, all right, like they made a call, but I was on the other side. Everybody else got slaughtered, like type shit, in case that happens. However, let's talk about the totals. I actually would lean on the under in the total of this game. These are two of the slowest moving pace teams in the NBA, actually. The total opened for this game, total points at 201.5, and now it's at 199. So you could see, expect it to be a low-scoring game. They have very slow pace. And let's just go into some player props. These are freaky games today. The one that's going to be the most competitive is the one in the evening, the later game, the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets. Everything else is just kind of crazy. Just tread lightly on the Celtics in the Magic game. I wouldn't throw too much on this game if you guys are betting on this game. But about player props, Banchero and Wagner, props over. The only way I would play those two, I wouldn't fade any of them. Those two players at this point, they're going to be carrying the Magic. As far as on the Celtics, like I said, Tatum was hurt, probably not likely to play. I don't really like any more props, to be honest, because I just don't know enough more about the situation. So I would just more or less, I like the total in this game under. I also like if you can buy a couple of points with the Magic on the spread or do tease that with something else. But overall, not a great game to bet on. Let's talk about the second game, the Heat versus the Cavs, 7:30 p.m. This is a similar situation. It's a Class A team versus an unmatched underdog, and the game is in Cleveland again, the Cavs Stadium, Game 2. The situation is better for Miami this time, but they only had 39 wins this season. So if they steal a game, it's either going to be tonight or it's going to be Game 3 in Miami. Like I said, similar to the Magic. But yeah, I don't know. It's not looking too good for them. They have Bam and Tyler Hero. Everybody else can't really pull shit together. So Hero might come through, cook something up, or the spread lines in these two games, the first game with the Celtics and the Magic and the Heat and the Cavs, they're so large that it's like, all right, what's the play? I wouldn't feel comfortable throwing such a big spread. I believe the spread in this game is 12 between the Heat and the Cavs. It's crazy. I would probably bump up the spread a little bit more for the Heat if I was going to take a spread line on this play, because I don't like public numbers, and I do think the Heat are going to play competitive tonight. And I do think it'll probably be the total is kind of difficult to differentiate, because I think if the Heat wants to stay competitive, they're going to have to slow down and play defense more against the high-scoring Cavaliers in order to limit them. So originally my idea and my thinking was, all right, Miami team total over 99.5, because the Miami Heat have scored 100 or more points in their last 15 games, and 7 of them were on the road, 7 of those games, and they've scored 108 points per game average against the Cavs this year. So rationally, I was thinking that, and the Cavs have allowed 100 points or more in each of their last 12 games, as well as 100 points or more in the last 6 games against Miami. So I'm kind of conflicted on this, because part of my thinking is there has to be more defense to shut down the Cavs. But it's I kind of like Miami team total over 99.5, to be fair. If Tyler Hero and Bam are going to have an absolute day, and if they do it, it might be today, it might be Game 3. But overall, not another game that I really like, to be honest with you guys. That's just full transparency, not a game that I really like. But if you're looking at player props for that game, Bam and Hero, props over tonight, of course. Jared Allen did pretty well last game. I think he might regress a little bit here for Game 2. You might check out taking his props under as well. All right, third game, and my favorite game tonight, the most competitive at least, the one that's actually going to be enjoyable to watch, is the Warriors and the Rockets. This game tonight, if you guys saw Game 1, the Rockets had it. in the first quarter. They came out and they punched them in the face, and then they fell off in the second quarter. They lost the second quarter by 16 points, and then like third quarter, fourth quarter was relatively even, within like 1 point differential. So they really did blow it. And I watched the game. Golden State was plus 18 from 3-point range. Obviously, Steph was doing what Steph does. Jimmy Butler was fucking cooking, and the two of them just overpowered. And I think another reason for that was this guy Fred VanVleet, the guard for the Houston Rockets, probably just had one of the worst games like he's ever had. He was only 4 for 19 shooting, and 2 for 13 from the 3-point range. He's taking so much volume. I just remember this guy breaking every single 3-point shot. If he hit any of those baskets, they would have definitely won. So if he takes anywhere near that amount of volume tonight, he's going to soar over his point total. So if you're talking about like player props real quick, Fred VanVleet is a solid option to look at for the over. He also played 40 minutes, and I expect him to have a bounce back game here, especially at home. All right. Other props on the other side, I'm never really looking to fade Curry or Butler. But I think one of them may regress tonight. Not sure which one. Might be Butler. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I have for those. But overall, the Rockets are in a good bounce back spot tonight, in my opinion. I do like the Rockets tonight, and yeah, like as far as I do have 2 VIP plays tonight. Like I said, I already sent them out to my VIP guys, and guys, like I appreciate all the support so much, man. Like I said, Spence Locks is back. It just was doing some other shit, and to be honest, I was kind of burnt out from betting and gambling. So I need to like give myself some time to like take some time off and actually go outside, touch grass, and not be like stressed. I was like growing gray hairs and shit, man. Like, but I'm in it now. I'm in it with you guys. We're running it back. Obviously, NBA playoffs is our best time of the year. It's the funnest time for me. I actually enjoy watching the games. I get into it, especially with the series back to back to back. The script be scripting. I do think something might happen in these first 2 games tonight, guys. Celtics and Magic, Heat and Cavs. Something crazy might happen in one of those games. You might see a dog win tonight. So that's why I would kind of stay away from both of those games, or alt line the spread for the underdog team, like I explained earlier, if you're going to do that. And then Warriors Rockets, I have a pretty good feeling on that game. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Just drop me a subscribe, a like, a comment, hit the bell icon, stay notified when I drop new YouTube videos. Love you guys. Thanks for the support. Spence Locks.